Hello, fellow Flosstubers. This is Lynn Wilches, also known as Love to Cross Stitch. It's been a while since I've been on. I've been busy, but not so busy. It's kind of like today. We have smoke. I mean, we've had smoke for a week now. And to be totally honest with you, I'm tired of it. We've got all the smoke that's coming up from California and Oregon, and I live in Washington State. So we're getting all of their smoke plus the smoke from Washington State. And I understand that it's even going into New York now. But this is awful. I mean, it's thick, it's depressing, and there was at least one day where I didn't feel like doing squat because it was blah. So anyway, getting back to Flosstube. I don't know if some of you remember or not, but in April I told you that I ordered, there goes my cat, that I ordered a cross-stitch kit. And in May I still hadn't got it, so I contacted the seller, excuse me, who's from Russia, and we had been in contact the whole time. And I told him I knew it wasn't his fault because he mailed it or she mailed it. So, excuse my hair. It's still a little wet and I have thin, fine thin hair. So anyway, so in the process, he went ahead and refunded me my money. And it was kind of like, I really didn't want the money. I wanted the pattern. So in July, it finally arrived. So I got my pattern. Here it is. Isn't that cool? I love this one. This is cool. I don't know how much of that's going to be. I'm hoping there's not a lot of that is half stitches. The one I'm working on now has half stitches, but I'm getting over the half stitch frustration, I guess you could say. I'm working on it because I'm left-handed, so I want to do things in the opposite direction, but I know that I have to do it in the correct direction. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, I'm kind of funny. So in the process of that, I had contacted him and said I had received the pattern and to please charge me for the pattern because he had refunded, he or she. And so that person came back and said that because I was so honest, he was going to give me a discount. So I didn't have to pay as much, but I still was able to pay him for it. And I felt good about that because I'm not one of those type people that would take somebody for granted and think, okay, well, you already gave me my money back. It didn't come in time. I'm going to keep it. So I don't do that. And then if you remember, I had posted that I had my leftover kit from the birds that from the cat one that I did last time, or that I finished at the end of sometime this year. So anyway, I got a message from another fellow floss tuber, I guess you could say, or someone that watches my show, and she had made the comment that I shouldn't do that because it's taking money away from the people that are making the kits. And so I totally agree with her. I do. I have no qualms on that. So, and the good news was nobody said that they wanted the pattern or the kit type stuff. So I threw out the floss, which didn't bother me that much. But I did keep the pattern, and I think I'm going to keep some of the patterns that I've done together. And who knows? Maybe I'll put them on eBay or something. Who knows? I may offer. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because I agree with her. I shouldn't be giving away the patterns, and yet I probably shouldn't be reselling them because the money goes to the people that made the kits. And if I was one of the people that made a pattern, I would want to receive money from that. But yet, I have a couple of different ways of looking at that. I'm more charitable than most people. It's kind of like with quilting. Quilters nowadays charge $25 to $45 per block to make a quilt. So when you consider that you're paying that much money for one block and you need at least 12 blocks to make the quilt, and then have to pay for the other part, that the last piece that tells you how to put it all together. Excuse me. I'm more frustrated at those people because to me that's greed. And in quilting, a lot of those patterns were done over 100 years ago, and you're just modifying the pattern. So I don't know. I have different ways of looking at that. There are people out there that are greedy, and then there are people out there that are generous. The world has changed, and so in crafts, people want the money. Some people do, some people don't. And you can tell by the patterns that are sold of the ones that really want the money and the ones that really don't care. They're just being generous and giving you a pattern. So let me get back to what I've been doing. I have finished a couple of quilt tops because I needed to. I've been going through my old stuff and I've got blocks and things. So here is one, and oops, that didn't work. Just my fingers doing the job. So let me get it back. All right, so this is a quilt top that I just finished. And each of those blocks were done by friends of mine in my applique group. Excuse me, hay fever, and with all this smog that's going on over here in Washington State, we get all the crap from from Oregon and California, plus Washington's fire that we're on a week. It's been a whole week with this crap. So, and my nose and my allergies are killing me because of it. So please excuse me in this. So anyway, on this quilt, the blocks, I contacted the maker of the pattern and asked if I could use it to have each of my quilt members do a block. And she gave me permission that I could do that and that I could have it because it was more of a personal thing in it, and I wasn't, and it's like I told her, I wasn't planning on selling it. So I had the pattern. I gave everybody the black for the hair and the face coloring, and they were to go ahead and do whatever they wanted to in bright colors that were Japanese fabrics, because I lived in Japan, as you can tell right there. Got those when I lived in Japan. These are from when I was a kid. So, and this here is part of living in Japan. So anyway, each of these blocks were everybody's colors. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's one right there in this corner. Whoops, lost it. All right, let me try again. There's one in this corner right here. And if you really look at it, she's got fabric that was white and black. Some people don't like it, but I kept it because that was, she wanted to be like a gray-haired lady. So, and I look at it this way, that it's my mama-san of the whole quilt. So, so that part I did stay. I didn't take it out and put in the black because I was okay with that. So that one my mother and I worked on, and we had a hard time trying to find the background color, the black with the white, and it worked out really good. So then in June, I think it was, maybe July, because I know it's been a couple months since I've been on here. And that's because I've got a retired husband that's around 24/7, so it's kind of hard to do this without him being around. And I never know when he's coming back inside when he goes outside. So, but now he started golfing again, so I can do it while he's golfing. So sometime in June, I saw on Instagram one of the companies that I follow had a kit for a bracelet in beading. So I made this, and it only took me about a day. See that? And they had where I could take these little gems right there and make a bobble here. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go through the trouble, and in all honesty, that was more something my husband would do than me, because I'm not that way. Oh, my cat's playing again. So what I did was, when we took a cruise in 2007, I had received this piece right here as a gift when we did the check out the jewelry stuff. We tried that at one station, and we kept hopping from one place to the other, and if you didn't buy something, then they were a little frustrated because they had to give you a little bauble or whatever. So anyway, that was one of the things that we did get. And I decided to put it on there. I mean, it's better there than in my jewelry box. But who knows, I might not wear that either. So, but this part right here, whoops. Okay, Lynn, figure this out. All right, there we go. So that piece right there was longer. It was about this long. And in case you haven't noticed, my wrists are kind of small. So my husband cut it down. Let's do this wrist. He cut it down to size, so it looks kind of like that. So, which I think is really pretty. Not my colors, but it was a kit, and it was fun, and I did it in 2 hours, 3 hours, not that much. So I've also been working on my beading, which if you follow me on Instagram, you would see that. This is my newest beading project. See how big it is? It's huge. And I believe it's called Friends of the Snowman, or something like Snowman's Friends. So I'm at 189 rows, I think, out of 480 rows. And you consider when I bead that particular thing, it takes me an hour probably to do a whole row. So it's anywhere from about 35 minutes to an hour to do a whole row. And I found a quicker way of doing it, because I used to do each line on the word chart, and now I do 4 or 5 lines at a time. So I actually so it's like doing a half a row at a time, and I get it done, and that's picked up my time better. So I'm getting more rows done in a day, which is nice, because I was normally doing 1 to 3 rows. Now I'm doing anywhere from 1 to 7 rows. So, and then I wanted to get the hangers put on, which is this one, on my my bird one. So I'm trying to get hangers on. And a friend of mine that had taught me how to bead, she was showing me how to sew this on so that you really can't tell, which is kind of nice. So anyway, I finished sewing this up yesterday. Then I worked on this one so that I could fold it over and stitch it, right? So when I folded it over, I don't know if you can tell on here, this one is at least 4 to 5 rows more than this one. So what I think I'm going to end up doing is taking this one out so that I can keep them all lined up, because I'm going to have one more here, and then so that it will be able to hang. So I'm working on that, and I want to get that done because my husband's going to do a frame for me so that we can frame this, hang it up. So that's what I've been doing as far as beading, which tends to take up more of my time. And my mother and I get together once a week. So, and I'll see her tomorrow. So we work on things that pertain to quilting because she's a quilter. And I think she still wants to keep me into quilting. Quilting is not what I want to do, but I do it with her. So we have been doing Forest Glorist quilt top, and we worked on that before my father's passing. And so we pulled that out, and we've done more stuff on that, which I need to do because I have it. I've got to do the eyes on the animals, and then we do the leaves on the branches, and then it's done. Finally done. Then we started our Hawaiian quilts before my dad passed also. And we were just getting to the point, he was in the hospital, and we were just getting to the point of cutting the Hawaiian patterns on the fabric out. And that's when we went through all the crap with my dad. Excuse me. So, wow. So anyway, I'm getting there. We finally got to the point where we laid it out, pinned it, and basted it. So now I can go ahead and applique on it. And I'm going to do that. So, whew. Okay, and then I have a friend down the street that was doing Brazilian embroidery with us, because I do, you know me, I do a little bit of everything. So she was doing Brazilian embroidery with us, and then she had an attack on an allergy attack that got really bad. I mean, terribly, terribly bad, to the point where she couldn't move. Her hands were stiff. Her daughter had to be in the hospital with her to punch the buttons type thing. So, excuse me, just what you need to see, somebody blowing their nose. So anyway, she gave me all of her stuff that pertained to Brazilian embroidery. And a lot of it I gave her. Some of the stuff she got herself. So she was working on the piece which we use for learning. And so this is the piece that she was working on. And she had all of the greenery done. And she had a couple of these done already. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and finish this for her and give it back to her. So I went ahead and did some of the Brazilian bullion areas up here. And then about that time, and I also worked on this one, about that time the quilt meeting was over. So I'm going to work on this for her and give it back to her. And then she bought a pattern that we all bought that was a group project that we were going to work on. And so I think I'm going to ask the group to see if they would be willing to do 1 or 2 flowers on each one, so that it's like a present from all of us. So we could do one part of it, and then it's kind of a group effort. So that's another thing that's been going on. And we did start doing Brazilian embroidery again. So we meet every first and third Wednesday at a Grange in Centralia. So I'm tickled about that. We're back to going. As far as Quilts of Valor, we've been making tons of quilts. We can honor all the quilts that all the veterans that are on my list, and we haven't been able to since March. So we did honor one veteran yesterday at the Veterans Memorial Museum. We honored him. He was a 90-year-old gentleman. So he got his quilt. And then we're going to honor another one today, which the museum director is actually going to honor him for us because he's in a hospice and he was a director of the Veterans Memorial Museum. He was in the Navy. So we're honoring him today. And then at the end of the month, we have another 90-year-old that is not doing well. So we're going to honor him. So that will be 3 90-year-old. Oh, no, that'd be 2 90-year-olds that are honored. And then we have one gentleman on hospice. So we wanted to honor him. So we haven't been able to schedule our presentations because of the COVID. So anyway, okay. So now I'll get to cross stitch. Back to cross stitch. I showed you the last time I did the video, and I think it had to have been June because I'm pretty sure I showed you after I got back from vacation. So I guess I'm 2 months behind. Anyway, I was working on the mice when I left. And then there for a while, I didn't work on the mice. And then I worked on the mice. And then I didn't work on the mice. And the funny part with all of this is I got to the purple pincushion. And I think I got tired of it because I wouldn't work on it for 2 days. And then I'd work on it. And then I wouldn't work on it for 2 days. But anyway, this is where I'm at right here. And I've done some outlining. I need to do some more pins up here, you know, the little pin tops. So I need to do more of those, and then I can finish off the pins in the outlining here. I've got more outlining down here to do. This was the one that drove me nuts because it's all purple. Thankfully, it's the end of purple, because if you notice, I had purple here. Now I got purple here. So this part is now almost done except for that little bit right there. I got tired of it, so I went up to this one and I started working on the mouse here. Okay. There's another mouse right here, and then it works down. So I'm not quite halfway, but I'm not, I'm more than a fourth of the way done. So, well, maybe you could say I'm a fourth of the way done because I just have this one section done. But I've gone into part of, if you divide it in half, I've got a little bit more than half here and almost half there. Anyway, so that's where I've been as far as cross stitch. This is kind of cute. And I'm almost thinking that if my nephew's kids like it, I might send it to them for Christmas or something. So it's just something that keeps me busy at night when I'm not beading. Because I try, this is the hard part, I try during the day to get in a couple of hours of beading. So sometimes I can, other times I can't. So if I can get that in, I can get up to about 4 rows if I get my 2 to 3 hours, my 3 hours in. If I can't and I only get an hour or two, then usually that's 1 row and then I call it done. And then I go and work on my cross stitch, or I go work on something else. And unfortunately, I do play games. Playing games relaxes me. And with all this smog and crap that's going on, it's ridiculous. And please excuse me again, but my nose is at it. So, unfortunately, I do have allergies. And they're seasonal allergies, but the smoke is not helping me. So, and I didn't take my allergy pill yesterday, so that didn't help. All right, so pretty much what I've done is beading. I spend more time beading or playing games. I ordered some beads. Excuse me. Last week I ordered some beads from Aurora Crystals, and so that came in quicker than the order that Sharon had ordered from Fire Mountain, and she ordered it a day before I did. So it's kind of interesting. I think I'm going to go to Aurora Crystals instead of going through Fire Mountain anymore, because Fire Mountain not only charges shipping, it also charges me tax. So you're looking at Washington State tax. And Washington State tax is like 9%, almost 10%. So I don't have that problem with Aurora Crystals and High Street Beading Company down in, I think, Mississippi or Louisiana, somewhere down that direction. So they're really good. Both of those two companies are really good companies that I deal with beading. I don't generally go searching for other companies when I get happy with these companies until somebody tells me that there's another company that's just as good. So other than that, life is because you got the COVID, and now we have, for the last week, had the smoke from California and Oregon and Washington, and I live in Washington. So it's depressing, it's irritating, and at the same time, I'm getting through it. It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, it's depressing at times, and I don't think I really get that depressed. I get to the point sometimes when I don't want to do anything at all. I just sit and play games, or I just watch TV. I can't sit and do nothing, so I play games. And I think that's my out, is games, because as a kid I've always loved to play games, and when we get together at the table, we'd have friends around the table and we'd play hearts and spades. We played all the card games that you can think of. Unfortunately, a couple of my friends have passed too, so I guess I'm up in that age where we start losing friends. So anyway, life is still good. I'm comfortable with where I am in life, so I can't complain. I feel for those that are having a rougher time than I am through the COVID and the smog. The COVID is weird because it's helped some people, but it's also hurt others. So my prayers go out to everyone that has to go through this. It's just hard, and I hope that we can get through this, and I hope that it's going to end soon, because this is getting old. So anyway, on a good note, I am working on my beading. I am working on my cross stitch. I am doing a few things that I probably wouldn't have the time to do. So I can actually say it's almost a good thing, because I'm home all the time and I can work on this stuff where before I couldn't. So I'm going to say goodbye, and look forward to seeing you again. And hopefully I can do this a lot quicker than I did before. So, excuse me. I should be on a lot quicker than I was last time. So take care. God bless.